When I was 3 years old, my mother abandoned me. At 16, they came to find me. Because of this, my sister wouldn't stop crying and throwing tantrums. Worried about my sister, my mother had me live in the basement with the housekeeper, like a rat no one wanted to see. I studied as if my life depended on it and got into Briarwood University. My sister wanted him. My parents told me to give him to her. Later I had a boyfriend. My sister set her sights on him too. Reborn into this life, I want nothing anymore. I just want to stay far away from this family. My head was splitting as if struck by a heavy hammer. I snapped my eyes open, the acrid smell of mildew invading my nostrils. Before me was a dim, damp basement, the walls crawling with mottled water stains. A flickering yellow bulb swayed overhead. "Audrey, you're awake? Quick, drink this bowl of porridge." A wrinkled face, etched with concern, leaned in. It was Alara, our old housekeeper. Alara? The basement. I suddenly sat up, looking around. In the cramped space there was a worn wooden bed, a peeling wardrobe, and a pile of clutter in the corner. Isn't this the basement where I lived when I was 16, after being brought back from the countryside? I trembled as I reached out my hand, staring at my slender, slightly pale arm. Not the pair of hands callous from years of hard work. I've been reborn. Reborn in the very year I was first found by the Ashworth family. My heart pounded wildly as memories from my past life surged like a tidal wave. When I was 3, my mother, Vivian, abandoned me at my grandmother's countryside home, claiming the family was too poor to raise me. Since then I had vanished without a trace. After my grandmother passed away, I was taken in by distant relatives and endured endless hardships, growing up like a wild weed. At 16, the Ashworth family prospered, and my mother suddenly remembered me. So she sent someone to bring me back. I thought the hardships were finally over, that the love of my biological parents had finally arrived. But reality slapped me hard. My sister, Penelope, whom I had never met, had been spoiled rotten since childhood. When she found out there was suddenly a new sister in the family, she immediately threw a tantrum, breaking half the vases in the house. My mother, Vivian, was heartbroken and gently comforted Penelope in her arms. "Penelope dear, don't cry. Don't cry. It's all Mommy's fault for bringing her back and making you upset." Then she turned to me, her eyes devoid of any warmth from our first meeting, only impatience and coldness. "Audrey, look how upset your sister is. Here's what we'll do. The rooms upstairs are all taken, so you'll stay with Alara in the basement. It's quiet there and won't disturb your sister's rest." So I, the nominal second young lady of the Ashworth family, ended up like a rat that couldn't show its face, living with Alara in the damp, dark basement. Father Alastair had no objections. His eyes were fixed only on the pampered eldest daughter. From then on, I became invisible in the Ashworth family, an unnecessary existence. Penelope used my things, stole my snacks. She even tattled in front of our parents, claiming I had stolen her hairpin. And our parents always blamed me without hearing my side. "Audrey, how can you bully your sister? She's been delicate since she was little. You have to be considerate of her." I endured it all because I longed for family affection, longed to be accepted. I threw myself into my studies, turning all my grievances and frustrations into motivation. I knew that only by getting into a good university could I leave this suffocating home. Heaven rewards the diligent. I was admitted to Briarwood University. It was the school I had dreamed of. But on the day I received the acceptance letter, Penelope threw a tantrum, begging me to give her my spot because she also wanted to go to Briarwood. Mom Vivian came to me with a pleading tone. "Audrey, look how much your sister wants to go to Briarwood. She's the treasure of the Ashworth family. You should let her have this chance. You're a girl. What use is all that studying? You'll just get married someday anyway." Dad Alastair was more direct. "Audrey, give the acceptance letter to your sister. This is an order." I refused, so they confiscated my ID card and household registration book, locking me in the basement. In the end, Penelope proudly went off to Briarwood University with my acceptance letter. As for me, I could only watch helplessly as my dreams were trampled. Later, I finally escaped the Ashworth family. I struggled through life on my own and met my boyfriend, Corbin. He was a ray of light in my dark life, gentle and caring, promising to give me a home. But when Penelope saw Corbin, She set her sights on him too. She used the same trick again, crying and making a scene in front of our parents, claiming that she had her eye on Corbin first. This time, our parents came to persuade me to give Corbin up to Penelope. They said, "Audrey, your sister isn't well. If she can't have Corbin, she'll be heartbroken and her health will suffer. Just pity her a little." But in reality, she was raised with great care, strong as an ox. I refused. As a result, Penelope schemed against me, making Corbin believe I was unfaithful and cheating on him. Corbin believed it and cruelly broke up with me. I went to explain to him but got into a car accident on the way. Before I died, I saw Penelope and Corbin standing in the distance. Penelope was nestled in Corbin's arms, a triumphant smile on her face while she looked at my photo with a victorious, sinister grin. That's when I realized the accident was her doing too. An overwhelming wave of hatred and resentment swept over me, making me scream into the endless darkness. Audrey, what's wrong? You look terrible." Alara's voice pulled me back to reality. I looked at Alara's kind face, my eyes welling up. In my past life, only Alara was kind to me, secretly bringing me food and comforting me. I took a deep breath. "Alara, I'm fine," I said, suppressing the hatred in my heart. My voice trembled slightly. "I just had a nightmare." But I knew that was not a nightmare. It was my blood-soaked past life. God has eyes. He has given me rebirth. This time I, Audrey, will never be anyone's pawn again. Penelope, Vivian, Alastair, and Corbin, what you owe me, I will collect it all. Principal and interest, one debt at a time. I didn't want to stay in this house even one more day. Suddenly, an untimely and loud gurgle sounded from my stomach. Only then did I come to my senses and took the porridge from Alara's hand. It was plain rice porridge with pickled vegetables. This was my daily meal when I first returned. In my past life, I thought just having a meal was good enough. Now looking back, it's truly laughable. "Alara, thank you." I sipped the porridge quietly, the warm liquid sliding down my throat, slightly dispelling the chill deep in my heart. Even if it was plain porridge, I had to drink it. I had to take care of my body. "Don't be so formal with me." Alara sighed and coaxed me. "Audrey, don't blame your parents. They just spoiled the young lady too much. You just got back, so bear with it for now. After a while, once they get used to it, things will be better." Get used to it. In my past life, I endured for so many years. Did they ever get used to it? They only made things worse. But in front of Alara, I didn't argue. "Alara, I understand." Only inside I sneered. "Endure. This time I won't endure anymore." After finishing my porridge, I got up to wash. The girl in the mirror was 16. Her skin pale from long absence of sunlight. But her eyes no longer held the timidity and fear of her past life. Instead, they were filled with cold hatred and resolute determination. Suddenly, there was a series of knocks at the door. I narrowed my eyes and asked, "Who's there?" "It's me, Mom." Vivian's voice came from outside the door, tinged with impatience. A mocking smile curled at the corner of my mouth. I was coming. I opened the door. Vivian stood there in a silk nightgown, her face lightly made up with delicate makeup. She looked like she had just woken up, clearly annoyed at being disturbed. She said impatiently, "Come upstairs with me. Your father wants to talk to you." Vivian didn't even glance at me, her tone cold. After speaking, she turned and walked upstairs. The sharp click of her high heels on the stairs sounded like a hammer against my heart. I followed her into the living room. Alastair sat on the sofa, holding a document in his hand. Penelope snuggled up beside him, wearing a beautiful princess dress. When she saw me come in, she immediately frowned, burrowed into Alastair's arms and whispered, "Daddy, what's wrong with her? Why does she smell so weird?" Vivian immediately shot me a glare. "Audrey, what's going on with you? Didn't you take a bath? And look at what you're wearing. I'll have your sister bring you some of her old clothes that she doesn't wear anymore." Old clothes. In my past life, I did wear a lot of Penelope's hand-me-downs. Those clothes were either out of fashion or had their edges cut up by her, which she proudly called a gift. I said nothing, just looked coldly at their happy little family of 3, feeling like an outsider. Alastair put down the documents and looked at me, his expression clearly turning serious. "Audrey, you just got back and aren't familiar with the situation at home yet. Your mother and I discussed it, And since your sister is weak and needs care, you'll be responsible for looking after her daily needs. It's also a good chance for you to get to know her better. In other words, they wanted me to be Penelope's servant. In my past life I did the same, washing Penelope's clothes, serving her tea and water. The slightest mistake would earn me her scolding and beating, while my parents would just say I was being unreasonable. Recalling that past life, I said coldly, "I won't do it." My voice was low but clear enough for everyone to hear. The atmosphere in the living room froze instantly. Alastair's face darkened. "What did you say?" Vivian frowned. "Audrey, how can you talk to your father like that? Asking you to take care of your sister is already a favor. There are so many people who would love the chance to serve your sister, and don't even get it." Penelope wore a look of amusement, a smug smile curling at the corners of her mouth. "Exactly, a wild girl from the countryside, and she dares to be disobedient." She looked at her parents. "Dad, Mom, I think she's doing it on purpose. She just doesn't want to serve me." I looked at Penelope's triumphant face and sneered inwardly. "I am a daughter of the Ashworth family, not a servant." I met Alastair's eyes without a trace of fear. "If you want someone to take care of her, you can hire a nanny or do it yourselves. I have my studies to focus on. I don't have time for this." Vivian immediately said, "What servant? This is to help you two sisters bond." I sneered. "I don't have time." Alastair's face turned pale with anger. "How dare you? Such insolence. Truly raised in the countryside, not knowing a bit of manners." Vivian was furious too, pointing at my nose and scolding. "I think you just need to be disciplined. Whether I have manners or not is none of your business," I retorted coldly. "If there's nothing else, I'll be going now." After speaking, I turned and walked away, leaving the three of them standing there dumbfounded. "Stop right there!" Alastair shouted angrily. I didn't slow my pace, heading straight down the stairs and back to the basement. Closing the door behind me, I leaned against it, my heart still pounding. It was the first time I had stood up to them, and the feeling was both nerve-wracking and exhilarating. "Audrey, are you okay?" Ilara heard the noise upstairs and asked with concern. "I'm fine, Ilara." I smiled at her. "From today on, I won't let anyone bully me anymore." Ilara looked at me with a determined gaze, paused for a moment, then sighed. "Good child. As long as you've come to terms with it yourself, that's what matters." I knew Ilara was worried I would offend the Ashworth family and suffer for it. But she didn't know. I had already died once. What was there to fear? In the days that followed, I completely became an outcast in the eyes of the Ashworth family. They asked me to take care of Penelope. I refused. They wanted me to do housework. I refused. They tried to confiscate my books. I locked them in the wardrobe and warned them that if they touched my things again, I would call the police. Vivian and Alastair were furious, calling me ungrateful and a thankless wretch. I no longer hoped for their familial love. I just wanted to study hard, get into Briarwood University, and leave this nauseating home. Time flew by, and before I knew it, it was senior year. Penelope's grades were a complete mess. She spent her days eating, drinking, and playing. As for me, I consistently ranked first in the grade, a sure candidate for Briarwood and another top university in the teacher's eyes. Penelope was insanely jealous of this and often deliberately disrupted me while I was studying or badmouthed me in front of our parents, saying I was putting on airs. She even claimed that my good grades must have been cheated. Vivian and Alastair actually believed her and called me in for a talk. They told me to keep a low profile and not to provoke Penelope, saying she was in poor health. I only found it laughable but didn't say a word. Talking to them anymore now would just be a waste of time. Soon, the college entrance exam arrived as scheduled. The moment I stepped into the exam hall, my heart was filled with determination. This time, no one would snatch away my admission letter from Briarwood. The exam went smoothly and I performed very well. After the test, Penelope approached me, feigning concern. "Sis, how do you think you did? I feel like I didn't do well this time. Maybe I won't get into a good university." I saw the calculation in her eyes and sneered inwardly. She was trying to undermine my grades again. I scoffed coldly. "What does that have to do with me?" Penelope's face stiffened. "I'm your sister." Then her eyes flicked. "Little sister, you know I'm usually good to you. If you get into Briarwood, maybe you could give me your spot. After all, we look so much alike. No one would notice. Besides, Mom and Dad said that if I get into Briarwood, they'll buy me the latest sports car. Then I'll give it to you too. How about that? Here it comes. The exact same words as in my past life. I looked at her greedy face and deliberately pretended to hesitate. But sister, Briarwood is my dream. Penelope thought I was moved and immediately said, "Oh, can dreams put food on the table? In the end, you still have to find a good job, right?" Her tone carried a hint of disdain. Besides, you're a girl. What's the use of attending such a good university? You'll just get married eventually, won't you? You might as well give the opportunity to me. I won't treat you badly. You should know, in the Ashworth family, only flattering me is useful. But I continued to pretend, putting on a hesitant expression. No ifs or buts. Penelope was getting impatient. I'm telling you, Audrey, whether you want to give up the spot or not, you have to. Mom and Dad said. If you don't obey, they'll kick you out. Sure enough, they were threatening me with being kicked out. I lifted my head and looked at Penelope, my gaze icy cold. Penelope, in your dreams. What did you say? Penelope couldn't believe her ears. I said, in your dreams. The spot at Briarwood is mine, and no one is taking it away. As for kicking me out, fine, I'd welcome it. After speaking, I ignored Penelope, who was stomping madly, and turned to leave. Who cares about this broken family? I could feel Penelope's resentful gaze burning into my back, as if she wanted to tear me apart alive, but I didn't care. In the days that followed, I waited for the results to be announced while preparing to leave the Ashworth family. I secretly saved some money from my usual frugal living and tutoring classmates. On the day the results were released, I was admitted to Briarwood University as the top science student in the entire city without any doubt. The moment I received the acceptance letter, tears uncontrollably streamed down my face. This was what I deserved. However, before I could even rejoice, Vivian and Alastair burst into the basement. Neither of them showed the slightest joy on their faces, only greed. Audrey, you really got into Briarwood? That's great. Our family finally has a Briarwood prodigy. Alastair immediately reached out his hand. Dad, Mom, what are you doing? I instinctively hid the letter behind my back. Doing what? Of course, giving it to your sister, Vivian said matter-of-factly. How can a daughter of the Ashworth family let a wild girl from the countryside go to Briarwood? If word gets out, it would be a joke. Penelope is our precious daughter. The spot rightfully belongs to her. I don't agree. I clutched the acceptance letter tightly. This is mine. Yours? You eat from the Ashworth family, where the Ashworth family's close. Everything you have now is given by us. What's wrong with giving your spot to your sister? It was Alastair speaking, his voice sharp. I'm telling you, Audrey, you will hand over this acceptance letter today whether you want to or not. It's not up to you. After speaking, he tried to grab it. I was prepared and dodged to the side. Hearing the commotion, Elara quickly ran in. What's going on? What's going on, Elara? They're trying to snatch my acceptance letter. I hid behind Elara and shouted. Seeing the situation, Elara immediately understood what was happening. She stood in front of me and said to Vivian and Alastair, Sir, madam, this is Audrey's hard-earned achievement. You can't do this. You old hag, this has nothing to do with you. Get lost, Vivian said impatiently. Elara craned her neck, still standing protectively in front of me, and earnestly said, Audrey is a good kid. This acceptance letter is her dream. You can't take it away. Just as we reached a stalemate, Penelope walked in. She held a document in her hand, a smug smile on her face. Dad, Mom, no need to waste words on her. I've already come up with a plan. She waved the paper in her hand. I had someone make a fake acceptance letter, identical in every detail to the real one. When the time comes, she'll take the fake to enroll, and the real acceptance letter will naturally be mine. I stared at the fake letter in Penelope's hand, my anger burning like fire. Such a poisonous scheme. Penelope, you're so despicable, I grounded out through clenched teeth. Penelope sneered. Do you think a wild country girl like you needs to talk about morals? Vivian and Alastair exchanged a glance, both seeing the admiration in each other's eyes. Penelope is really smart, Vivian smiled and said. All right, we'll do it your way. Alastair nodded as well. Yes, Penelope is getting more and more capable. After speaking, he looked at me coldly. You think that without your copy of the admission letter, your sister wouldn't be able to go to school? You're really too naive. I took a deep breath and suddenly burst out laughing, tears streaming down my face. Haha. Vivian and Alastair were unnerved by my laughter. What are you laughing at? Alastair asked, frowning. I wiped my tears away, my gaze turning cold and sharp. I'm laughing at your stupidity, laughing at your naivety. I took out my phone and pressed play. Immediately, the conversation between Vivian and Alastair forcing me to hand over the admission letter, and Penelope smugly pulling out the fake letter echoed from the phone. What's wrong with you giving your spot to your sister? Whether you hand in this letter today or not, you have to. I had someone make a fake admission letter for her to use when she reports. The recording reverberated clearly in the basement. Vivian and Alastair's faces instantly turned pale. Penelope was stunned too. She hadn't expected me to record it. When did you record this? Vivian asked, her voice trembling. Just as you were coming in, I said coldly. I already knew you would pull the stunt. After speaking, I shook my phone and continued. I backed up this recording several times. If you dare snatch my admission letter or try any more dirty tricks, I won't hesitate to hand it over to the school, to the media, and let everyone know how the Ashworth family treats their own daughter. You wouldn't dare, Alastair roared, concerned about the Ashworth family's reputation. Watch me, I said, looking straight into his eyes without a trace of fear. Vivian and Alastair exchanged a glance, both seeing the fear and unwillingness reflected in each other's eyes. They knew I wasn't joking. If this escalated, the Ashworth family's reputation would be ruined. Penelope trembled with anger, pointing at me and shouting, Audrey, how dare you threaten us? Right back at you. I sneered coldly and put away my phone. I won't give you the admission letter. From today on, I'm moving out until I report to Briarwood. If you dare to harass me again or lay a finger on that letter, you'll face the consequences. With that, I ignored them and began packing my things. Alara looked at me, her eyes full of comfort and support. Vivian and Alastair's faces turned ashen, but they dared not take another step forward. I knew this was only the first move. They wouldn't let it go easily, but I was ready. This time I would not only claim everything that belonged to me but also make them pay for what they had done. I packed my things as quickly as possible. There wasn't much, just a few old clothes and some books. Alara secretly slipped me a cloth pouch. Inside were some savings she had set aside. Audrey, take this. Take good care of yourself out there. I looked at Alara's kind face, my eyes welling up. Alara, thank you. Silly child. Alara patted my hand. Call me when you get to school. Let me know you're okay. Okay, I nodded firmly. As I stepped out of the basement, Vivian, Alastair, and Penelope were all sitting in the living room, their faces dark as they stared at me as if I were an enemy. I ignored them and headed straight for the door. Stop right there, Alastair suddenly spoke. I stopped in my tracks and turned to look at him. You just want to walk away like that? Alastair said coldly. You eat from the Ashworth family, where the Ashworth family's clothes, and now that you've grown wings, you think you can just leave? I sneered coldly. Mr. Alastair, since I came back at 16, I've lived in the basement eating leftovers and wearing Penelope's old clothes. May I ask how much I've eaten from your Ashworth family? How much I've worn from your Ashworth family? I've worked like a beast of burden in the Ashworth family, serving your whole household. Isn't that enough to offset it? Alastair was left speechless by my question, but Vivian snapped sharply. You ungrateful wretch. We brought you back and this is how you repay us. I sneered. If bringing me back is just to use me as a stepping stone for Penelope, letting her trample on my dreams and life to climb higher, then I'll bear being the ungrateful wretch. I looked at them, my gaze icy cold. From today on, I, Audrey, have nothing to do with your Ashworth family. After saying that, I didn't stay any longer. I opened the door and walked out without looking back. The sunlight outside was a bit blinding. I squinted and took a deep breath. The air of freedom felt so good. I rented a small single room near the school. Though it was simple, at least it was quiet. In the days that followed, I waited for school to start while working part-time to earn money. I needed money, a lot of money. I needed it to support my life at university and to prepare for completely breaking free from the Ashworth family in the future. But I never expected that while working at a restaurant, I would meet someone. A gentle voice sounded behind me. Audrey. I turned around and saw a boy wearing a white shirt, his smile pure and his eyes kind. It was Corbin. My heart suddenly tightened and all the love, hate, and grudges from my past life surged up in an instant. This was the man I once loved deeply, who ultimately betrayed me and might even have been involved in plotting to take my life. You are Corbin? I asked, feigning surprise, struggling to hide the turmoil inside. It really is you? Corbin laughed. I thought I had mistaken you for someone else. What are you doing working here? Oh, just earning some pocket money. I lowered my head, avoiding his gaze. What about you? How come you're here? Corbin pointed to a table not far away. I came here to eat with my classmates. Are you studying here too? How come I've never seen you before? I whispered. I just got admitted to Briarwood this year. A flicker of surprise and admiration immediately appeared in Corbin's eyes. Wow, that's amazing. I'm also at Briarwood, a sophomore this year. So you could say I'm your senior. Corbin had excellent grades. It was no surprise he got into Briarwood. He was my senior before I was found by the Ashworth family and had always encouraged me. But after the Ashworth family brought me back, we lost touch. This was how we met in my previous life. His gentleness and thoughtfulness were like a beam of light illuminating my dark life, making me mistakenly believe I had found true love. But now all I feel is irony. Corbin looked at me, his eyes soft as he continued. It must be tough working here all alone, huh? If you need any help, you can always reach out to me. Here's my number. Write it down. He took out his phone to give me his number. I looked at the wallpaper on his screen and realized it was a photo of him and Penelope. So, at this time he was already involved with Penelope. In my past life, I always thought they got together after Corbin and I started dating. I never expected they had contact this early. I just never knew. A wave of disgust surged in my chest. No, thank you. I took a step back, avoiding the phone he handed over. I have something to do. I'll get going first. With that, I turned and walked away, not wanting to look at him again. Part 2, The Confrontation and Freedom. The day school started arrived. Holding the real admission letter, I walked through the gates of Briarwood University. The campus was shaded with green trees, the environment beautiful. Watching the energetic students coming and going, my heart was full of emotion. In this life, I had finally stood here through my own efforts. The enrollment procedures went smoothly, and I received my military training uniform without issue. Just as I was about to head to the dormitory carrying the uniform, a discordant voice rang out. Hey, isn't this our top scorer, Audrey? Why are you here all alone? No one to help you carry your stuff. I looked up and saw Penelope wearing a beautiful dress, linking arms with Corbin, standing not far away with a mocking smile on her face. Corbin saw me, his eyes flickering for a moment before returning to a gentle expression. Audrey, you're here too. Let me introduce you. This is Penelope. She's from your high school. You know each other, right? Obviously, he didn't know the relationship between Penelope and me. I replied coldly. No, I don't. As I finished speaking, I turned to leave, but Penelope said, Little sister, that really hurts me. I am your sister. How can you say you don't know me? Corbin looked shocked. You two are sisters? Penelope nodded. Yes, she's my sister who was lost and left behind. After saying that, she came over and pretended to be affectionate, trying to take my hand. I stepped aside to avoid her, my gaze cold as I looked at her. Penelope, I don't think we're that close, right? Also, please stay away from me. I don't want to be associated with certain people. It's dirty. Penelope's face turned pale with anger. Audrey, don't take my kindness for granted. Whether I have a shameful face or not, what does it have to do with you? I sneered coldly. But you, Penelope, I never expected you'd actually dare to come. Whether you passed the exam or not, does anyone else not know? Do you think I don't know? What are you wandering around in front of me for now? Aren't you afraid I'll expose you and kick you out? Penelope's face instantly turned deathly pale. She looked around in terror, afraid someone might overhear. Corbin looked confused. Audrey, don't say that. Penelope, she. Corbin, this has nothing to do with you. I cut him off. My gaze was sharp as a knife. And stay away from me. Don't call my name. I find you disgusting. Corbin's face also turned very unpleasant. He didn't expect me to be so disrespectful. He frowned, his tone somewhat displeased. Audrey, are you out of your mind? Whether I'm out of my mind or not is none of your business, I said coldly. You two better stay away from me. Otherwise, I won't hesitate to make certain things public. I don't know how Penelope showed up, but if she wants to die, I can oblige. Fake is fake. It can never become real. During the following military training, I performed excellently and quickly bonded with my dorm mates. Penelope, lacking a genuine admission letter, couldn't participate in the training and could only wander around the school, watching me laugh and chat with my classmates. The jealousy in her eyes was almost overflowing. Corbin tried to approach me and apologize. He said it was his fault that day and asked me not to be angry, but I ignored him completely, avoiding him whenever I saw him. My coldness and distance left Corbin frustrated, which only made him more eager towards me. This, in turn, caused Penelope to vent all her resentment on me. She began spreading rumors about me at school. She said I was a wild country girl, cunning and ruthless in my pursuit of getting into Briarwood University, and even claimed I had a secret crush on Corbin, jealous of her relationship with him. These rumors quickly spread within a small circle, and some classmates who didn't know the truth started looking at me differently. My roommates asked if it was true. I just said calmly, the pure remain pure. The impure remain impure. I knew that arguing with someone like Penelope would only lower my own standards. I focused all my energy on studying and improving myself, proving everything with my abilities. Soon the midterm exam results were out. Once again I topped the grade, delivering a harsh blow to Penelope's face. As for Penelope, without a student status, she couldn't even take the exam and had to slink home in defeat. Alastair and Vivian, upon learning that Penelope had failed to get into Briarwood and had embarrassed herself at school, scolded her harshly, but they didn't dare to come after me because I had that recording in my hands. Just when I thought I could finally focus on my studies in peace, trouble came again. One night, as I was walking back to the dorm from the study room along a secluded path, I was suddenly blocked by a few people. You're Audrey, right? The blonde-haired boy at the front said with a cocky smirk. Sister Penelope told us to come say hi to you. A chill ran through me. So, it really was Penelope. Step aside, I said coldly. Oh, getting feisty, huh? The blonde boy chuckled. Sister Penelope said we should come keep you company. How about you play with us, little sister? The blonde boy spoke, then tried to grab me. Just then a voice suddenly rang out. Stop. What are you doing? I looked up and to my surprise it was Corbin. How did he end up here? The blonde boy's expression clearly changed when he saw Corbin. Obviously, they didn't want to cause real trouble, so they ran off as soon as they were spotted. Corbin came over to me. Are you okay? They were sent by Penelope, right? He sighed. Audrey, I know Penelope can be a bit headstrong. Don't stoop to her level. I looked at him and suddenly spoke up. What exactly is your relationship with Penelope? Corbin's eyes flickered and he said somewhat guilty. She and I were just ordinary friends. Ordinary friends? I sneered. Do ordinary friends keep photos together on their phones? Corbin's face instantly turned pale. He hadn't expected me to know about this. He hurriedly tried to explain. Audrey, listen to me. It's not what you think. No need to explain. I cut him off. Corbin, I don't care what your relationship with Penelope is, nor do I care what your intentions are in approaching me. I just want to tell you that the past is the past. From now on, I don't want any connection with you or your kind. So if you see me again, please pretend you don't know me. I walked around him and hurried toward the dormitory. In my past life, I longed desperately for warmth, thinking he was the one who would give it to me. Now it seems I was mistaken about him. This time, no matter how he changes, I won't make the same mistake again. Days passed one by one, and my life at school gradually got on track. My grades were excellent, my character steadily improved, and I made a few genuine friends. In my sophomore year, thanks to my outstanding grades and abilities, I earned the opportunity to study abroad for an exchange program. This was a great opportunity for me to improve myself, so I agreed without hesitation. Just as I was about to handle the procedures for going abroad, Penelope suddenly came to me. She completely changed from her usual arrogant and overbearing self, instead crying and begging me, "Sister, I was wrong. Please forgive me." She held my hand, tears streaming down like rain on pear blossoms. "I was too stupid. I shouldn't have taken your admission letter. Nor should I have threatened you. It's all my fault." I looked at her, my gaze calm and steady. "Penelope, if you have something to say, just say it. No need to put on a show here." Penelope saw through me, a flicker of embarrassment crossing her face, but she quickly returned to her pitiful expression. "Sister, I heard you're going abroad. I want you to give this opportunity to me." Sure enough, here she was trying to snatch something again. I laughed in disbelief. "Are you stupid? This chance to go abroad was given to me by the school. Even if I gave it to you, you're not a student at our school, so you can't go abroad. And even if you were, why should I give it to you?" Penelope finally snapped out of it, looking at me as if I were an idiot. She angrily said, "Just because I'm your sister, you should give me everything I want." Her eyes glared at me with venom as she said, "Audrey, even if I can't go, you're not allowed to go either. Otherwise, I'll tell everyone about how you were abandoned as a child, and you won't be able to hold your head high at school. Let's see how you'll manage to go abroad then." Another threat. I looked at her twisted face and said, "Is that so? I'd like to see if you actually have the guts." Then, as if remembering something, I added, "And don't forget, I have a recording of you and your parents fighting over my acceptance letter. If you lose it again, I won't hesitate to let everyone know how the Ashworth family treats their own daughter, and what kind of person you, Penelope, really are. Don't forget, your actions might even be illegal." Penelope's face instantly turned pale. She knew I wasn't joking. Her voice trembled. "What exactly do you want?" "I don't want anything." I looked at her, my gaze icy cold. "I just want to tell you to put away your dirty tricks and try to be a decent person, and stay away from me, or I won't hesitate to ruin your reputation." Of course, I soon found out why she suddenly lost her mind. It turned out that Corbin, seeing she still hadn't gotten into Briarwood or another top university, wanted to break up with her. At the same time, he was praising me in front of her, which is why she set her sights on me. That pair of scumbags. I was speechless, but I didn't expect Penelope to start spreading rumors about me. The school began to whisper that I was a child abandoned by my parents, that I was reclusive and psychologically twisted. They even said I bullied classmates. Some of my friends also began to distance themselves from me, their eyes filled with strange looks. I knew it was Penelope's doing, but I neither got angry nor tried to defend myself. I knew that arguing was pointless. I went straight to the school authorities and handed over the recording of Penelope, snatching my admission letter along with evidence of her threatening me and spreading rumors. The leadership took it very seriously and immediately launched an investigation. The results of the investigation came out quickly. The fact that Penelope had snatched my admission letter and maliciously spread rumors was made public. The school was in an uproar. No one had expected a student from outside the school to be so brazen. As a result, Corbin, who had once been involved with her, was also sternly reprimanded by the school and given a demerit. Corbin could no longer hold his head high at school. He became a pariah, despised by everyone. Upon learning the truth and seeing Penelope's hypocritical and vicious face, he finally couldn't bear it any longer and broke up with her. I thought that was the end, but I never expected Alastair and Vivian to find the school. "Audrey, you ungrateful wretch. How could you treat Penelope like this? She's your sister." The moment Vivian saw me, she pointed her finger at my nose and started yelling. Alastair's face darkened as well. "Audrey, apologize to your sister immediately and resolve this. Otherwise, we will sever all ties with you." I laughed. "Fine. I couldn't ask for more. From the moment you threw me into the basement, from the moment you snatched my acceptance letter, from the countless times you sacrificed me for Penelope, there has been no relationship between us. You gave birth to me, yet you did not raise me, abandoning me first and then abusing me later. Now what right do you have to criticize me? What right do you have to demand an apology from me?" I looked at them, speaking each word deliberately. "I, Audrey, from this day forward officially sever all ties with your Ashworth family. From now on, the bridge belongs to the bridge, the road belongs to the road, and we have nothing to do with each other. After saying this, I no longer looked at their shocked and angry faces, turning away. This time I walked away with unwavering determination and an incredible sense of relief. After completely cutting ties with the Ashworth family, my life finally welcomed true sunshine. I successfully went abroad for an exchange program. At the university overseas, I witnessed a broader world, learned more knowledge, and made many like-minded friends. After graduation with excellent grades and rich experience, I joined a top multinational company. My life finally got on the right track. Over the years, I occasionally heard some news about the Ashworth family. I heard that after Penelope returned home, she became even more hysterical, throwing tantrums and breaking things all day long. Vivian and Alastair were tormented by her and suffered greatly. I heard that after Corbin graduated, he worked at an ordinary company and didn't have a good life. I also heard that he dated several girlfriends afterward, but none of the relationships lasted. All of this no longer concerns me. I focused on my career, worked hard, and lived earnestly. A few years later, thanks to my outstanding abilities, I became the youngest leader in the company. I bought a house of my own. Though not large, it was warm and comfortable. I made new friends, started a new life, and everything was getting better and better. One day, I attended an industry summit and unexpectedly ran into Alara. She had come with her son, who also worked in this industry. "Audrey, is it really you?" Alara's eyes welled up with tears as she saw me, overwhelmed with emotion. I was also very excited and quickly stepped forward to hold her hand. "Alara, what are you doing here? Are you okay?" "I'm fine. Really fine." Alara wiped her tears and looked me up and down. "Audrey, you've made it. That's wonderful. Truly wonderful." We talked a lot. Alara told me she had long since left the Ashworth family because she couldn't stand what Vivian and Alastair were doing. She also told me that Alastair's investments failed, leaving him deep in debt, and the big house was sold. Now they live in a small rundown place. Penelope couldn't bear the hardship either. She ran off with a man and never came back. Hearing this, I felt no ripple in my heart, only a sense of dust settling. This was the fate they deserved. Alara took my hand and said with emotion, "Audrey, seeing you doing so well now, Alara can finally rest easy." "Alara, thank you. If it weren't for you back then, I might have." I choked up and couldn't continue. "Silly child. Why say that?" Alara patted my hand. "This is all something you earned through your own hard work." "Yes, all of this is the result of my own hard work." After the summit ended, a familiar voice called out behind me, "Audrey." I turned around and saw a man in a suit, handsome and with gentle eyes. It was Corbin. Years had passed and he had matured a lot, but deep in his gaze, there still seemed to be a trace of guilt and regret. "Long time no see," I said calmly. Corbin looked at me, his eyes filled with complexity. "You seem to be doing well." "Yeah, pretty good." I nodded. "I'm sorry, Audrey," Corbin suddenly said. "Back then at first I didn't know she was your sister. By the time I found out, I was already with her." I cut him off. "Corbin, it's all in the past. To me, you both have long been strangers. I don't need, so there's no need to talk about the past anymore. I don't want to hear it, nor do I wish to." Corbin didn't say anything more, and I turned away and left. Those hurts, those betrayals, those pains, they had all become the past. I have already let go. But that doesn't mean I will forgive. For the rest of my life, I never want to see them again. I looked up at the clear blue sky, my heart filled with hope for the future. In this life, I am no one's stepping stone. I have become myself. My life is just beginning. The future is full of promise. The end. Thanks for watching and do not forget to subscribe for more stories.